Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be rating every weapon in the man-eating train Roblox game. Basically, weapons are the main concept of the game. You shoot at the train and cultists, they run away, that's all they do. So first of all, we got the SB-1911. This gun is average. You start with it for free, but it's average. It does some damage. It's probably the weakest gun in the game, but you get it for free, and as a beginner, it's a pretty good gun. SB Mini is actually pretty good. You get a lot of shots, although there's a better gun in the future. But if you can't find it, SB9 Mini is a very good gun. Sonoff Model 3. It is a very good gun early game. You get 2 rounds and 8 reserve. You shoot both of them, does tons of damage, is very lit as well, and is very easy to reload quickly. You shoot, run, reload, come back, shoot, run, reload, and come back. Very good damage for close range. Might want to come with a secondary that has range, like the Hollingsworth 1894, which is also an S tier. This gun does lots of damage for a starter gun. It does 60, I think, has pretty good accuracy, and is pretty good for far range gun. As an early game gun, it's a pretty good rifle. Honestly, I would use these two as a beginner. Hollingsworth 1894 and the Sonoff model together. This is the primary, this is the secondary. These two combine very well. The Rack 10 is a solid B A tier actually. It does a lot of damage, sprays really quickly, like the Sonoff. But honestly, I don't really like it. There's better options. But, not gonna lie, it's a pretty good gun. Sprays a lot of damage. Bergsman 500, it's a B tier. It is better than the Sonoff, but it's more expensive, and it's more heavy. Does slightly more damage, or probably the same. These types of shotguns are only good in late game when they actually do damage, and this just isn't the best gun. The Cobra Magnum, D tier. You won't be really using these guns early game. These two are very good A tier guns. You have to get them, they're overpowered. They're like the SP-1911, but they come with extra 4 rounds per magazine, and they aren't that expensive as well. They are awesome, there's no difference except the naming. They're pretty common. Only downside is that you have to find them, they're not in the shop, but pretty much just every good gun that you have to do. So, this is even a worse version, I guess, if you really like these. Then sure, but I don't really like the Magnums. And by now, the Tombow would even be better. It's another S tier here. It does awesome damage. It's only 400, which is a bit expensive early game, but it's totally worth it. You get 60 rounds that do 10 damage close range and 5 damage far range. It's an awesome gun for early game. Very cheap, very efficient. I love it. Rack 10 Commando, even worse. B tier. If you do have this in late game, I'd rather use a Condor. Now, this one, I guess you could say it's better. I'll put it in A tier. I would rather save up for something better. This is still a really good gun, by the way. But I'll put it in A tier since you'll get better guns eventually, and shotguns are going to... You'd rather save up for the blue or purple tier shotguns. This is a very good early game shotgun. Custom Hollingsworth 1894. I think it's the same pricing. I would definitely buy it. But by now you'll probably be saving up for an even better gun. It just has a scope, but I'd rather be saving up for something more like the 1894 Tactical, which is another S tier. Or actually maybe by now you should probably be saving up for a better rifle. I know it's really good. It's like it's better version. I think it holds more ammunition, probably does more damage, closer or farther range. But honestly, I'd be rather saving up for like the Ermshaw or the SKD Marksman rifle. And plus, if you're lucky and you get the SKD Marksman rifle with the scope, or the AS-12, you should immediately equip those till you get better guns, as those are super useful early game. Now you got the Bergsman 510 Sport. Basically, same thing as the shotgun, but it holds an extra ammunition, so you can shoot an extra round. This is when shotguns get a bit more useful, still in B tier, but honestly, it's better. And this is actually a pretty good gun. I'd put it in front of A tier or behind. This is much more expensive at 400, which is same as the Tombow 45. But this one carries an extra 3 rounds than these. So this one holds about 8. So now it holds about 15. They're the same weight. They do same damage. Just this one holds more. And it's as efficient. That's why I put this at a low tier. Because you get better guns like these. And now we're going to go off into the blue zone. This sucks. The Strike Super Shorty is inconvenient. You already have good guns like the Tombow, and there's also better guns upcoming like the MA16, which is a pretty solid A tier. 3-round burst, pretty good. 20 rounds or 30 rounds, I'm not sure. It's a pretty good rifle. There's also the AU-47. I think this one's heavier, or probably the same. This might be heavier medium. This one holds about 30, does 20 damage close, does 10 far, but there's an improved version for both of these. Now the Sandro M12. This is a light gun for early game, mid game, but as in mid-game, you would probably wanting to get heavier guns, not lighter guns. So I'll put in a C tier, or as of right now. Mid-game to early game guns, you just want to get heavier guns. At late game, maybe you want lighter guns, but for now, you want heavier guns, because light guns don't do damage. Tombow 351, it's still incredible, but I'm gonna have to put in B tier. Yeah, it's more expensive, it's probably better than the Tombow, but there's already replacements like the AU-47 and the MA16, but they just outcompete you with damage and range. M-Shra 700. This is a pretty good gun for sniping. This is also good against cultists if you can headshot them, and it's pretty good for far range. I guess I would use this, but there is a better version, so I would put this around the last of A tier. Now we have the Bergsman 500 Century. For God's sakes, this is D tier. I already said this is basically just a normal shotgun, but much more expensive. And this one's even worse. This is L tier. It's basically sawn-off model, but just slightly more damage and range. But who cares? I'd rather be saving up for the Spas, which is also in this level, but for some reason called Pause 12. No wonder why. And this is actually slight behind A tier. It's a pretty good shotgun. I would definitely recommend it. It does outbeat the AS12. So once you get this gun, or the purple one, replace your AS12 with that. Although I'm not a shotgun user. I don't have any shotguns except the... What's my best shotgun? Yeah, the Bergsman Spot, which was a bit of a mistake, but still a pretty good shotgun upgrade. The VKK Voyelle. It's basically a light version of a sniper. Once again, you do not need light weapons. This is going in C tier. Now the SKD Marksman Rifle. If you're having trouble getting in the ticket box, you're having no luck, and you're also poor, this is a pretty good gun. Although I put it behind here. Actually, maybe in front. Basically, does tons of damage. It's very good, but there's a better version with a scope. I'm pretty sure it might do more damage. But once you get the ticket box version or the bot version, this is the ticket box version, you should definitely equip it, since they're basically mythical guns or legendary guns as a beginner. And you can get them very easily in the ticket box after the parkour you've done. These two, they are also L tier. Once you get to late game, basically, late guns, usually you want the best guns. These aren't the best guns, this is the best pistol. These are just slightly below it, so I don't recommend them. May 16 Marksman, 20 rounds, does 25 damage close up, 10 damage far, burst. It's pretty good, but it does get a bit outdated, so it's more of an behind here. Now the AU-47M, one of my favorite guns, goes to S tier. It's heavy, 35 rounds, not 30 rounds anymore. Same amount of mags, and also far range. Instead of doing 10 damage when you're like shooting very far, it does 50 now. So instead of shooting close doing 20, and then shooting far does 10, you shoot close does 20, and then when you shoot far does 15. So as you can see now, there's a pattern. This is more of a medium weight gun that does more damage close up, but it's not good far. And that's really weird because this has a scope while this doesn't. And this is more of a close to mid-range gun. You could shoot it very well at mid-range and do lots of damage. Close range also do lots of damage. Very awesome. I recommend buying this before you get the Cridge RGL. Elephant Stopper, once again, you don't need double barrel shotguns. You need 7-round shotguns. Basically, just don't get it. I made the mistake buying it, and it made me waste 2 hours of my life. Now the VUU Volgia A. This is an actual lightweight sniper. This is the better version. I would put it in A tier. Very good if you want a lightweight sniper. Only if you're doing a lightweight class, then it's very good. This is also a lightweight weapon. It's a pistol. It's also an A tier. Does lots of damage. It's light. It's a very good pistol. Probably the best one actually. It's actually the best pistol, and it's also still light. And this is probably one of the best guns for its damage to weight ratio. The Kistrov F/81. Or 91. I think, yeah, 81. Basically, has 20 rounds. I think it does 20 or 10 damage per shot. Pretty much as much as the AU-47M. But here's the twist. Instead of being heavy, it's very light. It's a much better version of the AU-47M. It does less damage, but it's better for mobility. I would actually rank this higher than the AU-47M because a very light weapon can change your life from having a heavy weapon. Although the difference between the magazine size are 15 bullets. And who knows? 15 bullets could change your life, or the mobility could also change your life. The SKD sharpshooter rifle. This is, I think, another ticket box exclusive. This is another S tier. When you get it early game, this is an S tier. But more when you get a light game, you're probably not going to equip it, and it's probably more of an A tier. Although, it's probably one of the best guns they can get early game. Now, we're going to go to the other ticket box exclusive, the AS-12. It's worse than the SKD sharpshooter rifle, but if you get it early game, also definitely equip it. Probably does less damage, but as a beginner, it's pretty much like Chew Shots, does as much as the sawn-off model, and it holds 10 rounds. Very useful early game, sucks late game. That's why I put it behind the SKD sharpshooter rifle. Now, we're on to the last shotgun of the game, which is the Moss 12. Instead of the Pause, it's a Moss. This one holds more ammunition, I think. Does more damage, I think, as well. It's a much better version, although I don't use shotguns. I do recommend this if you're a shotgun user. This is the best shotgun in the game, but as of right now, there are better guns like the rifles and snipers I do prefer. Now we're on to the Earnshaw 870M. This one's a worse version of the AP336, so I'll just put in a B tier, because this one's slightly more expensive, but much better in my preference. I do put it, right around here. It's a very good far range sniper. So if you're more of a close range, far range person, which I am, I've recommended very heartily, and it pairs very well with the Cridge RGL, the best gun in the game. You get 6 in your magazine, and you get 6 reserve. Every ammo box you get about 3. The reload takes quite a while. I think it's like 2 or 1 second. 1 second per bullet to reload, which can take a while, but you could shoot them at a fast fire rate of like half a second. It sounds slow, but the damage is humongous. It does like 150 damage, which is more than the auto cannons. So basically it's a stronger version of the auto cannons. Only downside is that its range is kind of limited, although you can shoot it very far, but it's very hard to aim at certain ranges, and it's pretty much impossible with far to far medium ranges. So that is the tier list of Edward the Man-Eating Train, and as of right now, maybe you're confused of which guns are the best together, and I'll tell you right now, the best guns early game to pair up with is the Hollingsworth 1894 and the sawn-off model if you're cheap. Now onto more of like the stronger early game guns, like the green ones. I'd probably pair up with the F1C, F17C, and the Tombow 45. Those two pair up very well, but if anytime you get the SKD or the AS-12, replace it with the F-17. And if you get it early game, like right before these two, just equip them both. Now the next combos together would be the AU-47M, AU-47, and the SKD Marksman rifle. These two pair up beautifully. They also pair up very well with the PAS 12. as they both do very good damage. But if you have the SKD, you can replace it with this one, and if the AS-12, say goodbye to that shotgun because these ones outmatch it. Now, to the late game guns, we're going to do the light version, so the Kistrov F/81 and the VU Volva or the Condor 50 MS. Both do very well. This one's more for DPS, this one's more for range, depends on your likings. But if you have the SKD sharpshooter rifle, suppose you could replace one of them. But as of right now, this is probably not the lightest gun, but if it is, might as well replace it. And now we're going to the heavier classes. So I think the best I would match up with these would be the AU-47 and the MOS-12. These two would pair very beautifully. They also pair very well with the sniper or even these. Honestly, these three guns are like the best combo. You can combo them with everything, and if you wish, you could replace SKD or the AP336. This can join in as well, but honestly, these three would do the best. And for if you have for very absolute late game, I would do the grenade launcher and something far range like the AP336. Or something mid-range like the AU-47, or even another close-range weapon like the MOS-12. And by the way, if you don't see any of your guns up here, it's probably because this is an old, or this is probably an outdated tier list, or that yours costs Robux. But if you're going to buy something with Robux, there's probably one gun that you should probably get, which is the Highwayman. You also get another grenade launcher. It's a worse version of the Kridge RGL, but if you do have it, it only holds one in the magazine, but you also get 6 reserves, so basically same thing, but holds less. You can actually combo the Kridge RGL and the Highwayman grenade launcher as well together, and those would do massive damage. So this is the tier list that I would recommend for all you guys. And make sure to tune in because I'll be making a cart tier list as well. Thank you so much for watching. My channel's pretty small. I don't have a lot of subscribers, but if you please just subscribe, I'd appreciate that.